respect the overall plan density for the area and that minimize the impact of development of the environment and significant natural features. We're essentially encouraging cluster developments in plan unit development districts. Section 110712, which is off-street parking. There's 2 points here. All open off-street parking areas in commercial or industrial districts that are abutting or adjacent to Trunk Highway 169 should have a buffer between the curb of the parking area and the sidewalk, street, lot line, or adjacent parking area. And then I've pointed out the 2 items that could include buffers. Those are in your packets. And then also, a variance is the proper mechanism for off-street parking reductions, not essentially a conditional use permit. So we've proposed this change as well. And that is staff report for this public hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Rosenfeld. Is there anything from you, Mr. Trost, from the Planning Commission? Discussion on this?
No.
Okay.
We had someone in the audience spoke at the public hearing, and he's here tonight again, and we,
Actually, you know what? We're still in a public hearing. And we're at?
no,
Or do we close it? Okay, go ahead.
and staff was going to get the answer by tonight, so
Oh,
I'll wait for
excellent.
that.
Right. And those questions regarding what?
Green Acres,
Is that regarding this, or is it the next one?
is that the
on our
next
agenda?
thing?
That would be the next one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so this matter's before us. Ordinance 09-05 is looking for a motion. What? Oh, I am so sorry, I'm totally lost here. Okay, now we'll open the public hearing. Sorry about that, I knew there was a public hearing in here somewhere. Anybody who wish to speak on this issue, please approach the microphone, give us your name and address for the record. Okay, we'll look for a motion to close.
To close the public hearing.
Mr. Lang, Mr. O'Laughlin. We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay. Now we have it. Reading of ordinance 09-05. So we're looking for a motion to
Well, I had a question.
authorize the
We
publication.
can
Yep,
do the motion first, whatever.
yep, that's okay.
Just curious about the non-conformities. In reality, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean like if you own something and it gets rezoned from underneath you, does that mean you become non-conforming then?
I'm going to direct that question to legal counsel.
Mayor and council members, it's a good question, and I'm going to give probably a less than adequate answer because that's a hotly debated topic among municipal lawyers and landowner lawyers. But that said, I can sort of summarize what people would agree it is. It is 2 things. One, it is a structure, some sort of improvement to real estate that has been built in compliance with the city code when it was built, and then the city's code or ordinances have changed so that that structure or improvement is no longer in compliance. That would be a nonconformity that is, the way we talk about it, grandfathered by this language. The other thing is a use, a land use. The statute actually talks about an occupation of land, but I think today we talk about it as uses of land, and I think very generally speaking that means categories of uses like a commercial retail business or an industrial use or a residential use. I mean, those are examples of categories of uses of land. So if I built a house and was using the land for a residential use and the code changed so that that land was now zoned commercial, my residential use, using it as a house, could continue under this language. So those are sort of the 2 categories of things that are can be grandfathered under this language. There are a lot of line drawing things that come out of that. Is it a use? Is it a structure or not? Is it something that's grandfathered or not? But generally speaking, that's what this covers.
Well, I just noticed that there's a lot of property here in the zoning map that it's gone from agricultural to R3. Now, can they still farm that land? Is that now a non-conforming use?
Mayor and council member, yes. To the extent land is farmed, and that was a legal use, it was zoned to allow farming, and that farming continues, but the zoning has changed, that would be a non-conforming legal use that would be grandfathered, is the term that people use, grandfathered under this language. So you could continue to farm land even though the zoning changed under this language, as long as you comply with this language. You don't discontinue it for an extended period of time or otherwise take yourself out of this language.
What does it mean we want to get rid of all the non-conforming uses? We want to put people out of business?
Essentially, the CUP allows for people to expand and enlarge the non-conforming, but the whole point of having the use being changed is for them to essentially go away, but no, not to put them out of business.
Can a business that's non-conforming expand? I mean, well, how do they do that? If I have a business that suddenly it's zoned something else, and I wanted to expand, would you have to get a CUP then?
By expand, we mean expanding your building.
Sure.
Essentially.
Oh, yeah, sure, why not?
Correct. But in regards to the non-conforming language, we wouldn't allow the CUP anymore. Right now, the current city code indicates if you get a CUP, you can essentially enlarge or expand your building, whether it's a business or a residence in a business zone property. State statute indicates that you should not allow any mechanism to expand those nonconformities.
Oh. How about if it's a residential house that's been rezoned to commercial? Or
Correct.
Same thing?
Same thing.
You said state code, I thought it was the Metro Council are making us do that.
The Metropolitan Council requires us to do the comprehensive plan.
New Prague isn't doing this with their, because they're not in the